What's up guys, Frank Feder from Rustic Woods here, and today I'm going to show you how to build a rustic wood flag. Now I'm sure you've been through a couple of videos online already. Everyone has their own way of building these. This is what works best for me in my workspace, and I get this question every single day on my Instagram, on my TikTok, so I figured I'd do a YouTube video for you guys to follow along, and maybe you can make one in the process. So before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment below. And let's get started. Okay, first things first, set your table saw to 1.5 inches. Then grab your 1x12 and we're going to cut this down to 1.5 inch strips. You can also buy it pre-cut from Home Depot or Lowe's at 1.5 inches and then just use your chop saw to cut it down to 36 inches. Then I'm going to save one of those strips and cut it directly in half, 18 inches. This is going to act as the brackets for the back of the flag. And then we're going to take those strips to a table, lay them down, and now this is where you get creative. You know, you can lay it out however you want. I like to keep all the knots on the darker strips, so the strips that are going to be painted, I make sure those have the knots. And on the white stripes, I like to keep them nice and clean. But again, this is preference. This is where you get creative and you design it however you like. From there, we're going to flip them up on their side, get them ready for some glue. And now I only put a little bead of glue going directly across. The glue is there for some extra support. You don't really need it because you're going to have the brackets on the back, but I only use 2 brackets on the back, so I glue the strips up, make sure they're nice and secure. You want your project to last a long time. Then we're going to put our pieces together, get them ready for the clamps. I'll do another video on this table jig for you guys. I did one on my TikTok, but I'm going to do a full version on my YouTube soon. So we're going to put the brackets for the table jig on top of the wood. And we're going to grab our clamps. It's important that you make sure all your stripes are flat when you're clamping them up, and this is where the table jig comes in handy. And I usually use 3 clamps. I put 1 on each side, and then I'll throw another clamp in the middle. Then I like to push down each one of the strips, make sure they're nice and flat. And then from here, I'll tighten down the brackets on the table jig. This is going to push them down even further and make them nice and flush. Then I'm going to wipe off any excess glue with a damp cloth. And then we're going to let it dry for about an hour to an hour and a half. So after about an hour, we're going to take the brackets off of the flag, pull it up off the table. If you wait any longer, it could stick to the table. So an hour, hour and a half is perfect. And then we're going to take those brackets and glue them to the back of the flag. I put 1 on each side. And then I'll take my nail gun and I'll nail each strip. And now we start to sand the flag. Now this is important because you want your flag to be nice and smooth. This is going to determine how well your flag looks after you paint it. So I usually start with a lower grit and I end up with around a 220 grit to make it nice and smooth. Then we're going to take our stencil. I'm going to line it up to the top left of the flag. And then we're going to tape all of our white strips. Now I'm using masking tape here, but you can use painter's tape. If you want to save a little money, use the masking tape. It works just as well as long as you make sure you put it down properly. I did a video on this recently, so if you want, go on my TikTok, and I'll also upload it to my YouTube as well. Stop. Then we're we're going to place a stencil back on top of the flag, and we're going to use a razor to cut the straight lines on the top 3 white stripes. Alright, once you're done taping, it's time to paint the flag. So the key to spraying your flag is keep the coats light, and you want to keep the can moving. So side to side, you don't want to stay in one spot. Try not to put it on too heavy, because then you're going to start to get some bleeding when you take the tape up. Then we're going to grab our stencil, place it back on top of the flag, and I like to tape the sides to prevent any underspray. Then you're going to want to grab some cardboard and put it around the stencil and on the rest of the flag so you don't get any overspray. Do some light coats on your stars and then go back and do a heavier coat. Now this flag I did a blue line. I forgot to show you how I do that, but basically I just tape the stripes above and below the blue line, and then I just paint the blue on there. So the next step is to burn your stripes. Again, this is preference. You can make them dark, you can make them light. It's however you like it and however your style is. Then we're going to put our hardware on the back. I use a steel cord. You could buy these in the roll and just put a screw on each side. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then from there, I like to burn the back of the flag as well. I just put a light burn on there just to give it a little more of that rustic look. Okay, last thing you want to do is put your clear coat. Now I always use a sprayer because I make a lot of these flags and the sprayer just goes quicker, and it also puts an even coat on it. Sometimes when you use a brush, you get some brush lines or you get some marks. The sprayer, as long as you keep it going steady back and forth, you'll get a nice smooth finish. And there you have it, guys. Your flag is completely done. If you guys have any questions, throw them down in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.